your thighs chafe, this video is for you because we spent $2,000 building swim shorts for guys with big legs. And the first sample was a complete disaster. Over the last year and a half, me and my brother have spent about $2,000 building and testing swim shorts for guys with big legs. You know, guys who lift, guys who play ice hockey, American football players, all those kinds of people. And that money didn't go into marketing, influencers, or ads. It just all went into product development, samples, and revisions. We ordered about 7 to 8 samples from about 4 different manufacturers, and each sample cost about $90 to $130 each. And while that might not sound like a lot, it quickly adds up when you have to include revisions, testing, and then some manufacturers ghosting you, and then you have to start completely from scratch again with a new manufacturer. And what really surprised us wasn't how much it costs to create these samples, because it obviously costs money to create samples and build a product, but it showed us how expensive it is to get real clarity on a product and really understand what it is that you want and what your customers want. A single sample is not just a piece of fabric stitched together. It's a bunch of different things around it, like, for example, international shipping, sourcing the materials, construction of the product, and adjustments and iterations and all that kind of stuff. And you do all this work without really knowing if the product is going to work and look the way you intended. You will only know that once you get the actual product and test it and see it for yourself. Here's the thing that really stretched out the timeline though. Each sample required a full cycle. So what I mean by that is we would review a sample, we would test it, we would take detailed notes, and then we would meet up with our product designer to talk about the notes that we took and make the necessary changes to the tech pack. Once she has completed the necessary changes to the tech pack, we would contact the manufacturer again and tell them about our updated changes and revisions, and then they would create a new sample for us and then send it to us, and then we would repeat the process. And that took a lot of time. When we started this whole process, we genuinely thought that we would be done and have a finished product in 1 to 3 months. Instead, each cycle took about 1 to 3 months. So at this point, we're about a year and a half into development, and most of the money that we've spent hasn't been spent on success. It's been spent on learning. The biggest mistake we made at the beginning wasn't placing the logo correctly or choosing the right fabric. It was actually that we didn't choose to make a tech pack before we ordered our first sample. So basically, we just reached out to a manufacturer and sent them a text message. And in that text message, we explained how we wanted our swim shorts done, that we wanted them to be stretchy and comfortable, and the goal was to avoid chafing and all the requirements that we had. But at the time, we didn't know that we actually needed a tech pack. So this was a massive mistake that we made. Then eventually, when our first sample arrived, it was absolutely horrible. The logo was way too big, the swim shorts didn't even have stretch, and the liner on the inside was way too thick. It was just in general a really bad sample, and we could have totally avoided it if we would have done a little bit more research and figured out what a tech pack is. So a tech pack basically is a blueprint for your garment. So in that document, you specify how you want your product to be built, what materials you want to use, the measurements, the design, and things like that. Obviously, we were complete beginners and we had no idea how to make a tech pack. So we reached out to a product designer on Fiverr to help us make this document. And then over time, as we got new samples, we revised the tech pack and made the necessary changes and adjustments in order to get the product that we want from our manufacturers. Some followed it to the dot, others skimmed and improvised, and that alone caused more iterations. At one point, we found a manufacturer that we were genuinely happy with, and they created great samples for us. But then out of nowhere, they just ghosted us completely and stopped completely responding to our messages. No explanations, no warning, just silence. And I guess it's part of the game of building a business and building an e-commerce business and talking with manufacturers, but it still was very frustrating. So We had to start again, and that alone added even more months. And here's the crazy part. Even after spending all this money, we weren't really 100% sure that this was actually going to work. At the core of this entire project is a very simple but frustrating problem: chafing. Mesh liners combined with heat create the perfect storm for irritation. When mesh liners get wet from sweat or from water, they become heavier and they become scratchier. The more you walk, the more resistance builds. And then the more resistance builds, the more irritation forms. And then if you add salt water to the mix and already have that irritated skin, the burning becomes really bad. And then on top of that, many swim shorts don't even have any stretch in them. When fabric resists your strides instead of moving with your body, that resistance transfers directly to your skin. Over time, especially in hot weather, that resistance causes chafing. So our focus was very specific. Number one, stretch. We want the swim shorts to move with your body and be comfortable when you wear them. Number two was the liner. It was super important to us that we had a good liner that was soft so it wouldn't cause chafing. We weren't building something for runway aesthetics. We were building something that could survive long walks in 38-degree heat, beach days, and a lot of movement. Now, the final version of the swim shorts feels dramatically better than the first sample. They have a really nice stretch, the liner is really nice, but we're not claiming perfection. Only me and my brother have tested the swim shorts, and that's only two guys with big legs. That's real testing, but it's also very limited. So the improvements will continue, and we'll obviously listen to people who buy the swim shorts and come with feedback, and then implement those improvements into future swim shorts as well. Before we spend serious money on development, we tested demand. We created a list of people in our network who we thought would be interested in a product like this. We told them about the idea, we asked what they thought about it, and we basically just explained what we were going to do. Then after that, we asked them if they would be willing to pre-order. Obviously, most people said no, but we got like 15, 20 people who said yes. And that gave us a pre-order value of a total value of approximately $200 to $300. And that was really encouraging, but it wasn't a guarantee that this business idea would work either. They didn't cover the development of the swim shorts, obviously, because that cost $2,000, but it did show that there was some form of demand for a product like this. However, still, late at night, there's always this question in the back of your head that keeps you up at night and makes you think, is this really going to work? Are people really interested in this? Did we really test demand properly? What if this doesn't work? What are we going to do? All these questions enter your mind, especially when you are laying awake at night. We've been putting a couple of hours into this project every day and every week for the past 1.5 years, because we're not trying to do this casually and just as a side business. We intend to make this our full-time thing. Being serious about something, though, doesn't really remove doubt, at least not for me, but it does make you confront it head on. Yes, we could lose money, and yes, we could fail, but building something properly instead of rushing something mediocre to the market feels way better and feels like we're actually giving it a real chance. At the end of the day, it's not about fashion, it's about comfort and building something that helps guys with big legs who chafe. We're building an anti-chafe swim shorts brand for hockey players, for lifters, for American football players, and for guys who walk in the heat and just start chafing because of their uncomfortable swim shorts. We're sharing the journey openly because we believe that building in public creates better products. If you join our email list, you'll get a first-hand look at our newest samples, behind-the-scenes stuff. You get to vote and come with your opinion on future decisions that we have to make within the business and stuff like that. This entire process has taken longer than we thought. It's cost us more than we expected, and it tested our patience more than we anticipated. If your thighs chafe and a long walk or a beach day has ever been cut short because of discomfort, then this is for you. We're building this product for you. And we're just getting started. You can subscribe to our newsletter at NordicDudes.com or click the first link down in the description. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.